Hi everyone, and welcome to another Spectre merchandise collecting video. At long last, I've managed to get my hands on the new Spectre edition of the James Bond archives, which is edited by Paul Duncan. So you can see there, it looks very much like the one that was originally available. Obviously this one does have an added Spectre chapter, and what's quite nice to see about this book is unlike other books that claim to feature Spectre and only have a couple of pages, this does have a significant chapter on it. I think I counted 24 pages in total, which makes a more pleasant change when it comes to other books that are out there. So let's just take a look at the book. It is smaller in size, and I'll compare against the original book in a minute, because I do own both copies. The front cover, as I say, is very much the same as the original. Still got the kind of fabric-y black bits there. The only noticeable difference really is the red on the cover isn't a snakeskin style design, which the original book did have. Felt a bit more premium, whereas this one is obviously the budget version. So you can see how chunky it actually is. And there's the back for you. So if we take a look inside, I've done a quick comparison between the two. I haven't read the original one yet, and the original is far too big to actually read comfortably, whereas this one is a bit more manageable. It's still bigger than I was expecting it to be, which is good, but it's significantly cheaper. So it is very much the same. There is a noticeable difference here in the preface. So you get an introduction from Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli. They do add, I think it's that chapter there in particular, sorry, that paragraph, they add a tiny bit more about the latest film, and mentioning that Spectre is making a return. But apart from that, the images are all the same. That image of Connery, Fleming, Broccoli and Saltzman is exactly the same as the original book. So those unfamiliar with the original, let alone the new edition, it basically goes through each Bond film, chapter per film, and uses interviews that have been carried out over the years to give you little snippets throughout. And it's very similar in the Bond on set books, really, whereby it tries to detail the films basically in the order in which they play out, which is very similar to the Bond on set books there. But obviously this is unique in the fact that it contains every single book and talks through the production process for all of them. So again, all of this, I've compared a few pages. I haven't been through the whole book page for page, but I can't see why they'd bothered to make any changes. It's just obviously in a more reduced size. So the text is obviously smaller and the images are smaller to suit. This book is unique in the fact that it does detail the unofficial 1967 Casino Royale as well. Has a whole chapter dedicated to it there, which is quite rare for an official Bond book to acknowledge. Most cover Never Say Never Again, but not many actually detail the spin-off that wasn't a great success. So if I just take you to the very end of the book now then. Warning, if you haven't seen Spectre, there will be possibly a few spoilers in some of the images that you might catch a glimpse of. So each chapter is marked with the opening titles of the film, just to show a change in chapter. The Skyfall section hasn't changed. I was expecting maybe a slight addition just to detail the box office numbers and things like that. Again, I haven't had a thorough look, but nothing appears to have changed within the book as per text and images. Obviously the new chapter starts here. So So again, as with all chapters, that's how they start off: an image from the film, details of the film. And then it starts going through the film, again in the order in which it plays out, and it uses interviews and relevant piece of information from those interviews to make up the picture of the film making. And Paul Duncan has a little bits and pieces to say here and there to add anything to the story that he feels the need to. Again, I haven't read the book in detail yet, so I can't really talk about the content, but I have heard it is a very good read. But the old book was very difficult to read comfortably, so this one I'll give a good go at, and once I finish the Some Kind of Hero book, which is also very good, and I highly recommend reading that one, I will do a review of that once I've finished. So you can see there it goes through the whole process of making Spectre. And again reveals things that other books may not have revealed, like the torture scene near the end of the film. The images are very good quality, and that's where it ends. So again, this is how the other book ended up: same image, same appendix, and then details the full index, and gives you a nice detail of the timeline of the Bond films and Bond history. So that's the new edition of the book. So this one didn't come in a presentation box like the original. Again, it is a cheaper version of the book. Did come in this luxury wrapper. You can see there the original retail price of $44.99. The original edition, obviously retailing for up to 135 quid. I got the original version for 70. I was quite lucky to get it for that price, and I got this version for £30 from WH Smith's. I'd placed an order for the book twice through Amazon UK, and twice it has been cancelled, and they seem to have no idea if they can sell the book or not. So I gave up in the end, went through WH Smith, got 10% off and got it for 30 quid, which is a bargain, I must say, because it's still a very substantial book, still the same number of pages, it's just in a more easy to read format. That's not to say that if you get the opportunity not to buy the bigger of the two books, because it does look very nice and is a hefty chunk. So that's the original book, and you can make out the cover is it is a snake skin kind of design there, and it is much more chunky, so you can see there the size difference between the two. It's not much, but it's noticeable, and obviously when you fold it out flat to read the book, you will soon notice the bigger book there. There's the difference in width. Again, not much to go by there, but the big book is obviously a premium version, does cost up to £100 or maybe a bit more, but again, this smaller one is better for a quick read, the bigger one for a coffee book table to have a look at the images more so. And Paul Duncan did post on, or is posting on, the MI6 forums currently, keeping people up to date with where the book is available, and he did say that they had access to the negatives for these images, so it can produce very high quality images. So bigger book, much better image quality there. Obviously the big book does have the luxury of coming in its own presentation box as well, complete with handle in case you want to transport it around anywhere, something the small book does lack. So that's it. Get it while you can, because Paul Duncan has said himself that it is selling well. The big book did sell out very quickly, and they had to do a reprint of that, and I had to wait for the reprint rather than pay extortionate prices. This one, once the initial run sells out, they will not be producing any more, so Paul Duncan says. Whereas this one, obviously new still, they will probably do a reprint of it, but it apparently is selling very well, and if it's anything like the original book, it's going to be quite difficult to find in a few weeks, couple months' time. But I would imagine that as a new Bond film comes out, they will continue updating it. If they're onto a winner, they can see them cashing in for future films as well. But it is really one of the essential books now to have as a Bond fan. So I hope you found that informative. Do go out and buy it. Do go out and buy it whilst it's still cheap, and significantly cheaper. Obviously, if we're going by retail costs, this is a third of the price of the original. So certainly worth getting. So thank you for watching, and I'll keep you up to date with Spectre merchandise videos as I get more stuff. Thanks for watching.